my last bit, moving into the bigger picture, Mark Bullock, and I have to shout out Mark. Mark's a good friend of mine, and Mark's done brilliant things with wheelchair tennis over the years. I was having a big chat with him at Wimbledon. I know you guys again got onto the show courts even earlier this time, the through demand, we all go back, and I always use yours and Golden's final last year. It was on simultaneous with the men's doubles final, which had Neil Skupski in, and I was watching the two courts on different TVs, and your court was 20 times louder. Like the whole, that you've really got certainly in the UK, it seems like you've grasped the imagination and inspiring so many now. But then it comes along and we hear that US Open's taken the event away this year, and that seems to be a bit of a step backwards when there seems to be so much progress being made. What are your thoughts and take on that? And how does that affect the positive feeling that has been happening in the sport over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I fully understand the reasons why US Open isn't taking place. I feel like I'm in a position where I can speak to people who make these decisions, or at least in the room when these decisions are being made. And I fully understand that the Paralympics obviously clashes at the same time as the US Open, so therefore there was no physical way that the US Open for us would have been able to be possible. Could it have been played obviously either a week later or a couple of weeks earlier? That was the conversation that a lot of players were inquisitive about, and I know that they looked into all avenues to make it possible. I do believe it's important that wheelchair tennis is at every Grand Slam every single year. Take nothing away from the Paralympics. The Paralympic is it's a huge event. It holds a lot of history, a lot of prestige, as so does the US Open, and in the sporting world of tennis, it's obviously huge. But there has been a lot of progression, especially other slams as well. I mean, Wimbledon has been it's just remarkable in terms of its profile raiser, the opportunities that are being given, and the other slams are also doing that. We've played on Chatrier now, played on Arthur Ashe, and Rod Laver has had wheelchair matches, and each year you feel like it's growing. So to then miss out once every 4 years feels like a bit of a gap in that progression. But the next one is in LA, and I'm fairly confident that they'll be able to figure out a solution, because all players, they want that. We don't want to have to pick, because the Paralympics does mean so much to wheelchair tennis. And to me, it's an absolute dream to go there and play for my country and try and play for a medal. But as a tennis professional, a wheelchair tennis professional, US Open is also a huge event in the calendar for legacy, for history, for titles, but also for finances as well, because for wheelchair tennis, the main prize money is really earned at the Grand Slams. So you then take away one event in that year, it can potentially make a big difference to someone's income if that's not there. US Open did have listened to that side of it, and that's why they're still offering prize money to the top 14 men's and women's and quads in the world, so that there are no people missing out, which I think is a great thing to recognize and just share, because that was probably one of the main disadvantages of it, because it's a huge gap otherwise. So they've been very open about the whole process, and it's a difficult decision to make. At the end of the day, I'm still going to be there in Paris, absolutely loving the fact that I'm playing in my third Paralympics. But I'm confident, and I hope that in future years there can be a system or a way to figure out that both can happen.